Happy Monday, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, pulling back the curtain on all things medical and ushering people into the wonderful, undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. This forwarded to me this morning by my friend and longevity associate, Jarmel, sent me this email that he took off of Medscape, medscape.com. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, otherwise known as the FDA, has placed testosterone products, most antidepressants, and the cancer drug Adcetris, made by Seattle Genetics, on its latest list of medications to monitor because of potential unconfirmed health risks. This was just announced June 16th, 14 days ago. The FDA said that it would scrutinize testosterone products because it had received reports suggesting the possibility of abuse, misuse, or dependence. The products were indicated for men with low testosterone levels associated with other medical conditions. In terms of negative publicity, testosterone has had a bad week. Yesterday, in an unrelated announcement, the FDA said that it was requiring manufacturers of testosterone to add a general label warning about the risk for venous blood clots. The current label mentions this risk for testosterone users who experienced polycythemia, an abnormal increase in red blood cells that sometimes is associated with testosterone use, unexpected, unintended consequences. However, the agency said yesterday that it had received reports of venous blood clots in patients who did not have this blood condition. Meanwhile, the agency continues to study whether or not testosterone increases the risk for stroke and heart attack. Well, don't you think that would have been a good thing to do before you gave it an okay? I mean, really, don't you think that would have been a good thing to do before you gave it an okay? Remember, the Food and Drug Administration does not work on behalf of United States citizens. The Food and Drug Administration works on behalf of the pharmaceutical concerns in the United States and around the world. All antidepressants except MAO inhibitors made the agency's watch list because of signals of angle closure glaucoma. Some research has linked antidepressants to glaucoma in elderly patients. Now, an appearance on the list does not mean that the FDA has determined that the drug poses the health risk. However, the agency will investigate if there is a causal link. If such a link is established, the agency would then consider a regulatory response, which can include, get this, gathering more information, revising the drug's label, or requiring a risk evaluation and mitigation strategy, but never, ever, ever removing the drug from the marketplace. Never, ever, ever removing the drug from the marketplace. We talked about a cancer drug, a chemotherapy drug, which was approved in 2011 to treat Hodgkin's lymphoma and systemic anaplastic large cell lymphoma. The drug brentuximab vedotin, because it may lead to liver toxicity. In 2012, the FDA ordered a boxed warning for the drug about the risk of progressive leukoencephalopathy, a rare but serious brain infection. So here's the deal, right? I mean, let's think this through. So you're a multi-gazillion dollar pharmaceutical industry and you dream up a drug. Remember, drugs can only exist as patentable items if the chemical formula has never ever existed before in nature, right? Can't never have existed before in nature. It must be a man-made drug, must be a man-made substance. You can't go to Washington, D.C. and patent oxygen, right? Or orange juice. You can't do it. So in order for a drug to be patentable, which means that the only company that can make it is the company that made it, that dreamed it up, patents will expire after a number of years, and then you get the generic form of the drug. But in order for a drug to be patentable, the molecule has never had to exist before on planet Earth. So a drug company dreams up a biochemical the intention of which is not to fix the root cause of the disease, the intention of which is not to cure the disease, the intention of which is simply to suppress symptoms and perhaps in the best case scenario mitigate the acceleration of the disease process. Now, because when you throw a man-made synthetic pharmaceutical agent into a living, breathing biochemical machine, holistic machine endowed with a spiritual essence and an intelligence and trillions of moving parts, that's like throwing, barbed wire into the giant gears of the clock and something's going to get upset. You're going to knock something out of whack. You have to. It's inevitable. It's guaranteed. This is why every drug in the world creates side effects. Because the drugs do not intend to work with the biochemistry of the body. The drugs do not intend to support and promote the body's natural ability to regulate and optimize its structure and function. The drugs are an attempt to exert a hostile takeover of the biochemistry of the body, and in so doing, they create side effects just as part of the deal. Now, we have become inured to this process. We think that this is just the way that it has to be because we've let the pharmaceutical companies tell us, which tune to dance to and which rhythm and for how long for the last 100 years. So, there's a drug, synthetic, man-made, patentable drug for profit, the intention of which is not to fix the disease, but simply to upregulate or downregulate a certain biochemical pathway in the body, which is itinerant with, which comes along with a boatload of side effects, not the least of which in many cases is death. And the FDA understands that there are certain risks associated with the drug. And so they'll list the risk on the label of the drug. Warning, right? This drug may cause stroke. Warning, this drug may overly thin your blood and you'll bleed to death. Warning, this drug may induce depressive episodes and you want to shoot yourself. Warning, this drug may do this, that, or the other thing, and they leave it at that. And they think that the patient is supposed to be able to interpret this warning on the side of the pharmaceutical box and then take the appropriate action. Or the doctor is supposed to attend to these things, but that never happens. The doctor doesn't care that your high blood pressure medication is going to create type 2 diabetes in 5 years. He doesn't care about that. He knows that it's going to happen. It's right on the label. They know that it's going to happen, but the doctor prescribes it anyway. The oncologist knows that the chemotherapy drug has a chance of giving liver, kidney, or lung cancer, but they're going to prescribe it anyway. Just because they put the warnings on the box is supposed to be, your hedge against improper, medication, disease, and death. But it's not. It never is. They just put a warning on the side of the box, and, everybody goes about with their business, and this is bad and wrong. And yet, like with L-tryptophan years ago, when there's even a shadow of an inkling of there might be a problem, and by the way, the research that said that was a problem was bogus research, they yank it right off the market immediately. They don't put a warning on the side of it. They don't require vitamin companies to put a warning on the side of it, in this case L-tryptophan. They just yank it right off the market. Well, why don't they do the same to drugs? Because the Food and Drug Administration does not have the back of the American consumer. The Food and Drug Administration has the back of the pharmaceutical company. They are not there to protect you. They are there to coddle the pharmaceutical industry. Now, is that right or is that wrong? Well, that's wrong because it's a federal institution and its job is supposed to be there to protect the consumer, but it's not. I mean, God loved the free market. So the pharmaceutical companies can do whatever they have the money to do. They can wield as much political power as they have the money to do, and I guess that's just life. But when it's under the cloak of darkness, so to speak, when it's through smoke and mirrors and delivered to us, the Food and Drug Administration, it's got your back. No, it does not. Leading cause of death in the United States, MD-directed medical therapeutics. Leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medical therapeutics. 500,000 people killed from Vioxx, one drug. Vioxx, one drug. 500,000 people dead, one drug. Nobody goes to jail. And the company that makes the crap is still alive and well and rolling out more stuff for you to take. So beware the label on the bottle, number one, but number two, be advised. And remember, we're not against drugs, right? It's not the drug, it's how it's used. It's not the gun, it's how it's used. Again, thank God for penicillin, Novocaine, the sterile technique, right? The mattress suture. These things are all good, but when they are properly used. But remember, the most important take-home message here is to understand right down to your bones. The tissue change, the tumor, the asthmatic lung, the enlarged heart, the eczematous eruption, the fungal infection, the deformed nail, the deformed joint, the inflammation in the joint, the Baker's cyst behind the knee. These things are not the disease. They are the result of the disease. And your MD may be the nicest person that God ever created. But your MD is not trained to be concerned with what causes disease, nor are they trained how to cure disease. Now, as long as you understand that, you're good to go. I mean, if you wouldn't go to a plumber, or you wouldn't go to a swim coach to help you with the plumbing in your house, even though the swim coach works in water all day long. But the type of water that you have an issue with is not in his wheelhouse. Well, chronic disease is not in the wheelhouse of your MD. It's just not. Because they are not trained how to fix it. They are not trained as to get to the root cause of what causes it. They're only trained to manage its symptoms. And when you manage a symptom in a complex, living, intelligent, biochemical system, i.e. the human body, when into that smorgasbord of wonder you throw man-made synthetic drugs, you're going to create a problem. It's only a matter of time. Fire your MD now. Back after these words. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Join the live stream, by the way, the drgliddenshow.tv, the drgliddenshow.tv. There are, let me see, 56 people in attendance. Lori Patrick, Heather the Wellness Gal, Barb, Barry, Amelia, Candace, Carol, Slater, Claire, Claude in Berlin's in the house. Cora, Donna in North Carolina, Eric in Memphis, David in Winnipeg, Dr. Ken, Diane, Denise, Gary, Heather, Dean, John, Grievous, Janet, G, or J, Jessica, Beck, Gary, Patty, Ron, Robin in Florida, Matthew Tokoff, Renee Silverthorne, Ann Arbor, Miguel Colon, Cartagena, Theron, Dean, Ryan, Stephanie, Arnold, Teresa, rain, more rain in Iowa. It's headed our way too. And so many more. 59 people now in the house. Check out the live stream. Check out the live chat. Become a member of this rapidly growing community. The drgliddenshow.tv, or just go to my website, drglidden.com, and check it out. Where did I read? My people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. Doesn't matter. Look, right, that's an Old Testament thing, right? It doesn't matter if you're Catholic, doesn't matter if you're Christian, doesn't matter if you're a Jew, doesn't matter if you're a Hindu or a Muslim, doesn't matter if you're Baha'i, doesn't matter what your religious ilk is, doesn't even matter if you're an atheist, for goodness sake. It is apparent and obvious to those with eyes to see and ears to hear that our health is getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. We are not getting better. Life expectancy shrinking, autism skyrocketing, Alzheimer's skyrocketing, arthritis skyrocketing, high blood pressure skyrocketing. Obesity, don't even talk to me about obesity. 30%, one-third, 33% of adults obese, tripled in the childhood population in the U.S. in the last 20 years. Obesity in kids. While we have given our lives and our trust and to the MDs and our money to the medical insurance concerns, our health has gone steadily downhill. And because this is such an overarching phenomenon, because it happens to everybody all of the time, and probably because of some mind control satellite in the upper stratosphere, we all just bend over and take it. We're all in the matrix, ladies and gentlemen. We are. We're in a medical matrix of sorts where we've just gotten used to mediocrity. We've gotten used to getting sicker as we get older. We've gotten used to needing a prescription medication to pee, a prescription medication not to pee, a prescription medication to poop, a prescription medication not to poop, prescription medication for our heartburn, a prescription medication for the blood sugar, prescription medication for the blood pressure, prescription medication to fall asleep, prescription medication to wake up, prescription medication for the skin, prescription medication for the prescription medication. This is normal to us. You know, Dr. Wallach tells the story. He's been traveling all around the country all around the world, quite frankly, for the last 20 years. 300 free lectures a year. He's in the airport all the time. He said that, 15 years ago when he started doing this, or whenever, he'd meet people, waiting to get on the plane, sitting next to him, and they'd show him the pictures of their kids and their grandkids, right? Just as a way of pleasant conversation. Now what do people do? They show them their prescription medications, bags of them. This is how bad it's gotten. We have lost our way. We've lost our way. And so, you know how bad it is? Okay, we see this all the time in the chat room. You see this all the time in people that call in. So let's say you have, an arthritic condition and you go to the MD and they tell you, you need a fake knee. So they give you the fake knee. And then 4 years later, the fake knee that they gave you starts to go south. So what are you going to do? You have to go back to them and they get another one in. And then, then your other knee goes. So what are you going to do? You have to go back to them because it's the only show in town. So even though they let you down, even though their therapeutics don't deliver what they told you they deliver, even though you get less than perfect results, you continue to go back to them. Continue to go back to them. They screw you up and screw you up and screw you up, and we go back and we go back and we go back because we don't know there's a difference. We don't know there's a different way. It's insanity. Because my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. And it's true. People are destroyed by what they don't know. And honestly, the stuff that we bring to the table is so far outside of people's area of knowledge that they didn't even know they didn't know that. I didn't know that. For instance, heartburn is caused by a deficiency in salt and a deficiency in calcium. Did you know that salt is one of the most important foods you can eat? Do you know that butter is good? We've been telling people butter is good for 100 years, and finally Time Magazine agrees. You see the last edition of Time Magazine, it finally says eat butter. Talked about that last week. It's a Procter & Gamble PR stunt to make you believe that Crisco was better than butter, and what did we get as a result? Heart disease. And I'm the Quack. Stick around. Cooking with gas today, ladies and gentlemen. Cooking with gas today. Dr. Peter Glidden chatting it up on the commercial breaks here in the chat room. Join the live chat. 64 people now watching the live stream. drglidden.com or the drgliddenshow.tv. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Let's go to Tennessee and see what Nancy is up to. Hey, Nancy, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi. Okay, I'm taking the Healthy Start Pack and extra selenium for some dental work that I had done, and just health in my dental, cavities or whatever. Anyway, I am starting to have really bad breath, and my husband is noticing it, and he's telling me that it's really bad. Just within the last week, it's gotten worse. And then another issue I have is just sort of dizzy-headedness a lot.
Okay, so are you taking the selenium as a standalone product?
Well, I take the Healthy Start Pack, and then I take selenium in addition to that.
All right, how much do you weigh?
140.
And how many selenium do you take a day?
I was starting out at 9 a day, and I've kind of cut back to about anywhere from maybe 2, sometimes up to 6 a day.
All right, so I want you to stop the selenium completely for 72 hours. Don't take any extra selenium for 72 hours, 3 days in a row. See if your breath clears up. If there's no change to your breath, it's a dental issue. It's not a nutritional supplement issue. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if there is a change to your breath, it's too much selenium. And so we have to hit a dose and stick with it in order to judge, its effects on the body. And at your body weight, what I would do, if it was the selenium and then you start to go back on it, I would start with 3 a day. I'd start with 3 a day. One between breakfast and lunch, one between lunch and dinner, one between dinner and bed in a perfect world. That's what I would do. And hang out with that dose for a couple of weeks. See if your breath is okay. And then increase, right? Go to 6 a day. And hang out with that dose for a couple of weeks and see if your breath is okay. But the first thing to consider if you get funky breath when you're taking these supplements is that it's too much selenium. But because of the pre-existing dental condition, it's possible there could also be something going on in there. That's the first cause of funky breath is a funky tooth, right? It is the first cause, or the first thing to think about in the diagnostic, array. So that's what I would do with that. Just back off the selenium completely and then see what happens and then throw it back into your body in small amounts as necessary. Now tell me this, Nancy. Since you've started, have you felt anything positive?
Well, I have always been take a lot of supplements and exercise and try to eat right. I've gotten rid of the 10 bad foods, but I would say that my body, I can see a difference in my body. I feel more and probably look more fit and toned.
Okay, great. Because this is the goal here, right? This is not about mediocre, maybe kind of, sort of, yeah, I feel a little bit better. It's not about that. Properly administered, holistic medical nutrition in a comprehensive package is intended to produce a noticeable, measurable, positive change. Noticeable and measurable, positive change. Now, sometimes in people who are already in a relatively good state of health, the improvement that they glean from the longevity stuff, from our good nutritional program, is kind of like the little background aches and pains kind of fade into the distance, and then you forgot to even had them in the first place, right? So that's entirely possible, but make no bones about it. The intention here is for noticeable, measurable. And my advice to you, as an experiment for 7 days, when you feel so inclined, take 2 more scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine a day. 2 more scoops a day for 7 days and see how you feel. All right? And kind of be mindful during that 7-day period of, what time you go to bed, what time you wake up, your energy quality, all of that stuff, right? And you seem smart enough to be able to do that. But that's how I would handle that moving forward.
Okay. As far as dizzy-headed, I kind of feel like my brain is like the top of my head is kind of weightless, and I feel sort of dizzy quite a bit.
Now, is that something that happened previous to longevity, or is this a brand new thing?
This has been going on probably for 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So the most common cause of that, and it's interesting to talk about, the technical term for that is vertigo. Mm-hmm. And there are many different types of vertigo, one of which is named after Dr. Wallach. Did you know that Dr. Wallach has a disease named after him? It's called Wallach's vertigo. He's the only naturopathic doctor I know that has a disease named after him. The first, second, and third thing to think about when somebody experiences that kind of top-of-the-head flying off, lightheaded sensation is osteoporosis of the skull, which sounds a lot worse than it actually is. I did a webinar about this, and I can only explain so much in a couple of minutes, right? But on my website, in the Insider subscription service, $20 a month, cancel at any time, right? You'll have access to an hour-long webinar that I did, complete with slides and pictures and a really pretty thorough explanation in layman's terms, right? I keep it real easy to understand, of the process that forwards this particular type of vertigo. And the webinar that I'd like you to watch is called Ringing in the Ears, because from our point of view, ringing in the ears, the technical term is tinnitus, vertigo, many different types of vertigo, lazy eye, Bell's palsy, tic de la rue, and one other kind of, and obscuration of smell, like funny smells in the nose or no smells in the nose, funny sensations of taste or no taste in the mouth, and chronic laryngitis are all caused by the same thing. It's all osteoporosis of the skull. And it's a relatively easy thing to get on the other side of. It just means that your skull, in this case, needs more minerals and needs more nutritional support. And as your skull bone gets more healthy, then we would expect the dizzy symptoms to fade into the distance. So I would check that out. I'd just become an insider, even if it's just for 1 month. Check that video out and take a run with the nutritional supplements and see what you think.
I will do that.
All right, Nancy, you're the greatest. Appreciate your call. Keep up the good work in Tennessee. Utah is up next. Hey, Denise, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. How are you today?
Well, I'm pretty great. I'm going to be in Park City, Utah, God willing, and the creek don't rise in a couple of days to do some videotaping for a television series. How about that?
Nice. That'll be fun. Hopefully it'll be cooler up there than I'm in St. George, so it's a bit hot down here.
Oh, yeah, you guys down in the south, man. Woo-hoo! Summer's not the best time of the year to be in St. George, eh?
It's better than being anywhere else in the winter, so
touche to that. So what's happening?
My husband has been diagnosed with hiatal hernia.
Oh, yeah.
And extremely bad acid reflux.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to ring my own bell here, right, as I am wont to do from time to time. I have my Insider subscription service, and as part of that service, we have 100 hours of archived health webinars. One of the best webinars I think I ever did was on heartburn. I mean, it's a great webinar. It's because I love telling people about this because it's so easy to understand and it makes such perfect sense. And nobody's ever lined this up for people. And when they see it the way that I explain it to them, they go, holy smokes. Why doesn't my doctor know that? I mean, this is easy. This is like not even medical school stuff. This is like college biology stuff or even high school biology stuff. Why the heck does my doctor not know this? I don't know why your doctor doesn't know this. Well, I know why your doctor doesn't know this because your doctor's an idiot. Well, not an idiot. Your doctor's a reductionist and an intellectual coward who doesn't question at all what they've been taught and who doesn't really see through the smoke and mirrors thrown in front of them by the educational process. But that's a long-winded way of saying I have a really good informational webinar that you could just have your husband watch, and if he hears it from me, he's more likely to do it than if he hears it from you or from somebody else, right? I mean, let's be honest, unless you guys have a really...
Absolutely. He's actually listening to you on the computer in the other room.
Okay, great. Well, there you go. See, I didn't even know him, but I know that's how guys are. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm the same way, right? So go to my website, become a subscriber just for 1 month. I mean, it's $20.
Okay.
$20. You can cancel after the first month if you want. Watch the webinar on heartburn, and it'll explain it in detail. I'll give you the Reader's Digest condensed version. Heartburn is caused by a deficiency in salt and a deficiency in calcium. Period. That's the short story. It's a deficiency in salt and a deficiency in calcium. He, in fact, does not have too much stomach acid. That's impossible to do. It's impossible to do. You cannot make too much stomach acid. How does that happen? Ask his MD. What's the process behind that? How does that happen? The MD won't know, and the MD will say, oh, it's genetic. And if the MD says it's genetic, then you need to ask the MD, really, doctor, which gene is it? Your body can't make too much stomach acid, but it's really easy for your body to make not enough stomach acid. And when you have not enough stomach acid, you get heartburn. So he needs to start salting his food so that it tastes good, and he needs the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for body weight with the liquid calcium, not the powdered calcium. And I would take 1 extra bottle or 2 extra bottles of liquid calcium a month. So the answer, the solution here is to support and promote a healthy digestive tract, and we do that with 1 healthy digestion pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and then 1 or 2 extra bottles of the liquid calcium a month, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. I would expect he would get on the other side of this, within 21 days, if not sooner.
Does this address the hiatal hernia as well? Because I don't really know what that is.
Well, hiatal hernia is interesting, right? So in the architecture, the anatomy of the torso, you've got your skin, and then you've got a layer of connective tissue. It's kind of like cheesecloth. Then you got your muscles. Then you have another layer of connective tissue, and then you have your organs. In this case, the small intestine and the large intestine. When the connective tissue cheesecloth stuff becomes weak, the intestinal contents punch a hole through that and come out. It comes out right behind the skin where it shouldn't ought to be. It pooches through. It's kind of like if you had dry rot in the side of your house, you could just push your fist right through it. And well, that's not a good thing. So hiatal hernia is caused by nutritional deficiencies to the connective tissue in the abdomen. And so he also would then need connective tissue support, which would be glucogel and selenium. So in order to support connective tissue, which is a prudent thing to do in anybody with a hernia, the recommendation would be 1 or 2 bottles of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 bottle of liquid glucogel plus per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and find a chiropractor or a massage therapist or somebody in St. George who has been trained in the Bowen technique, Bowen, Bowen technique. Because if the hernia is not extreme, you don't need surgery to fix it. You can fix it with a physical medicine move, and the person who does the Bowen technique will know what this is. And then, if you give the body nutritional support, ostensibly you can strengthen that cheesecloth again so it doesn't happen in the future. That's what I would do. Do the medical nutrition. See if you can find somebody in your neck of the woods who does the Bowen technique, and let her rip. I tell you what, he's going to love how he feels. Yeah, that's the way we do it. One person at a time, one body at a time, one mind at a time, one town at a time, one county at a time, one community at a time, one city at a time, one state at a time, one country at a time, then the world. And then I guess after the world's on our side, what are we going to do? Move to Mars? Probably. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know what you don't know. And sadly, regretfully, when it comes to your health, the simple stuff that you need to know, you haven't been taught. And it's not difficult. If you can pass the driver's license test, you're smart enough to know what to do to support and promote your body's ability to fix itself. Now, why don't the MDs get behind us on this? They know that the system is failing. They know that they don't have enough doctors to keep up. They know that costs are ballooning. Why? Because what's the most expensive medicine? The one that doesn't work. They know that the United States Department of Education accredited the naturopathic medical schools in the United States, so they know it's a legitimate academic institution. They know that 17 state legislatures have, in their wisdom, decided to license and regulate naturopathic doctors because they think it's a good addition to their community. We don't actually hurt people the way that the MDs do. We actually bring a professional skill set to the table that nobody else does. We actually help people. We actually reduce the burden of medical care to the community. We do that. Insurance companies love us, by the way, when they're not founded and headed by MDs with their head ups their backsides. Because why? Because people under naturopathic care get better. We really practice health care. MDs practice disease management. Now, which is better from an insurance point of view? Someone who's on a program that gets their body healthier and healthier and then they don't need the medical procedure? Or somebody who needs a medical procedure every 6 months? It's a better job, better deal for the insurance company financially to back the naturopathic horse. And as more and more insurance companies figure this out, it gets better and better for us. But my point here is, we're licensed and regulated, graduate from fully accredited academic institutions in the United States. And you would think that the MDs would welcome us. Oh, come on, boys. Come on, girls. We need all the help we can get. Dr. Glidden, you're the greatest. I should have MDs calling me up every day. Dr. Glidden, you're doing a great public service here. The stuff that you're bringing to the table is awesome. It's really helping. It's really picking up the slack. Really doing a great job. We need to have 1,000 more Dr. Gliddens in the world. I completely support what you're doing. But that hasn't happened, and that's not going to happen. For goodness sakes, naturopathic medicine is only licensed in 17 states in the United States. You know what that means? That means we don't have a free medical market, and you've been screwed, glued, and tattooed by Big Pharma. This is not some fly-by-night medical thing. This is licensed, regulated medicine developed and delivered by physicians with a PH. Why? Why not? Hey, you know, give it a try. See how you feel. Listen to the show. Get on board the live chats. Become an insider. Get on board with the worldwide chats, and you'll see testimonials that'll bring you to tears. I've never said, and I never will say, because it's a lie, that we offer some panacea, golden pill, overnight cure for everything in the world. That's not what we do. And it's a gross mischaracterization, misrepresentation to think that way. I tell you what we do is we bring intelligence into the domain of medicine for the first time in 100 years. You actually have intelligent people driving the bus. We bring to the table science-based, clinically verified, boilerplate, foundation medical nutrition strategies for the masses, the intention of which are to help their bodies get stronger and healthier. Now, can somebody please tell me why this concept is not embraced by every medical professional in the world? Can somebody please tell me why? Well, I know why. Because Big Pharma don't want to lose the lion's share of the deal. It's a big bad voodoo daddy, ladies and gentlemen, the way that medicine is delivered here. It is a for-profit runaway train wreck. Just don't you be on the tracks when the train's coming for you. Jump off now into the light of longevity. drglidden.com is where you want to be. I'm going to the chat room right now. See you at 6 after the next hour. Stick around. Oh, maybe we're back. Chat room is cooking with gas. David from the chat room had a funny comment. David said, next Halloween I'm going to dress up as cholesterol because it's so scary. Folks, if you're missing the live chat, you're missing a lot. Check it out. It's free, by the way. Dr. Glidden, the drgliddenshow.tv, the drgliddenshow.tv. Let's go up to Toronto. Oh, Canada. And talk to Sandra, who's calling in with eardrum options. Hey, Sandra, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's happening, Sandra?
How are you?
I'm great, but I'll get better, God willing, and the creek don't rise. How are you?
Good, thank you. Dr. Glidden, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for what you're doing.
You're welcome.
And thank you. And I'm calling regarding my son. He has fluid buildup behind his eardrum.
Oh, yeah.
And they want to do surgery to put those tubes in.
Yeah.
To drain the liquid. And I was wondering if there is a better option.
There's always a better option when it comes to MD-directed therapeutics. So interesting, right? The MD therapeutic does not attempt to address the cause of the fluid buildup. It doesn't. All it does is it sticks a tube in the ear, which, quite frankly, you know how painful that is? You know how much that hurts? A lot. And all it does is drain the fluid. It doesn't get to the root cause of why is there fluid building up there in the first place. I had an argument with an MD pediatrician that I used to play golf with. Don't even ask me how that relationship developed. It's a long story. He said, Doc, we were having lunch one day, and he said, what do you think is there? You're a naturopath, blah, 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 blah. I know everything. I'm the pediatrician. What do you think causes ear infections in kids? I said, it's an allergy to cow's milk. And he said, no, it's a crooked eustachian tube. It's a crooked eustachian tube. No, it's not. It's got nothing to do with the crooked eustachian tube. It's got everything to do with inflammation inside the eustachian tube. And 99 times out of 100, if you simply remove everything made from cow's milk, no butter, no yogurt, no ice cream, no cream, no half and half, nothing made from cow's milk, this will go away and it won't come back. Now, in the acute station of this illness, in order to support and promote a healthy inner ear, or middle ear in this case, or inner ear, what I would do is a homeopathic medicine, Pulsatilla. Let me spell that for you. You have a pencil?
Yes.
All right. It's P like Peter, U, L, S like Sam, A, T like Thomas, I, L, L, A. Pulsatilla. Homeopathic Pulsatilla. You can find that at any health food store in the world. Get 1 tube of homeopathic Pulsatilla. If you're on the chat room, here's what the tubes look like. They're about that big, about the size of your index finger, your pinky finger. It looks like a lipstick container. Cost about $10. Inside the tube is going to be about 100 little white medicated pellets. In order to support and promote a healthy ear canal, the recommendation is 2 pellets of the homeopathic Pulsatilla every 2 hours for 2 days while the child's awake. 2 pellets of homeopathic Pulsatilla every 2 hours while the child's awake. Eliminate all dairy products, everything made from cow's milk. Goat's milk is okay. Sheep's milk is okay. Camel's milk is okay. Dolphin milk is okay. I don't care. Any other type of milk is fine. No problemo. Just keep him away from cow's milk. Give the homeopathic Pulsatilla. And of course, right, you know, everybody, regardless of their age, needs to eliminate the 10 bad foods. And everybody, regardless of their age, needs to get on board with the Healthy Start Pack at the appropriate dose for their body weight. So clean the diet up, get on board with the Healthy Start, take the homeopathic Pulsatilla, say adios to anything made from cow's milk, and I think that's going to secure the day.
Perfect. Thank you so much. He's actually having tangerine right now.
Great.
Yeah. And also he has, he snores.
Yeah.
And he breathes through his mouth.
Yeah, so that's an indication that cow's milk and milk-related products got to go, because his body's not liking that stuff at this age. And you know, how much does he weigh, by the way?
18 kilos.
So that's what, like 45 pounds, right? 30, let's say 40 pounds, okay? So
Yeah,
I'm 200 pounds, he's 40 pounds. If he drinks an 8-ounce glass of milk, that's like me drinking 40 ounces of milk. Now, you would never see an adult drink 40 ounces of milk, would you? I mean, that's a lot of milk.
Yeah.
But when kids throw down an 8-ounce glass of milk, right, it's just a ton of milk protein in their body, and their body can't handle it. So, you know, I would just stay away from that stuff for the next 6 months. Keep your fingers crossed and see what happens.
Okay. He doesn't have a lot of, I give him goat milk, and also he doesn't have any yogurt. The only thing he has is ice cream. So do you think by eliminating just ice cream, I can get it under control?
Yeah, and I bet you that he's sneaking cheese somewhere as well. I bet you somebody's giving him cheese. I mean, when he goes to his grandmother's house, does she keep him away from this stuff?
Yeah, cheese I give him too, actually. That's the only 2 things that he has, ice cream and cheese.
Yeah, so stop that. Now, you can give him sorbet if you want to. It's made from fruit, right? No milk in it. And you can give him goat's milk cheese. You can give him sheep's milk cheese, no problem.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Sandra. Good luck. I love my listening audience. I really do. It's getting bigger every week, by the way, and we have the distinction of trending number 1 in this time slot on the Genesis Communication Network, even up against Alex Jones. So that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Let's go to Minnesota and see what Christina is up to. Hey, Christina, what's shaking? Christina, Minnesota. Christina, Minnesota is gone. I think she hit the wrong button on the phone. Marilyn from Minnesota is up next. How often does that happen? 2 states back to back. Hey, Marilyn, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
Hey, Marilyn, what's going on?
I called you last Wednesday about atrial fib, and I was in the process of doing that.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
Not much change. I did the, you suggested just the CM cream then afterwards, and 12 EFA plus,
Yep.
and 3 ounces of osteo, and I still don't get the ka-thump, the normal, but I just get the ventricle thumps. But I believe that there's less irregularity in them. They're more, a little bit more stable, and my back is a little straighter than it was.
Yeah.
As I thought back, because you had asked me what was going on prior to AFib, and I thought back, and for 2 years I had cadmium toxicity, which I understand blocks the calcium from my muscles.
Well, that would do it.
Yeah, and so they were real sore, and as I thought back, that's when my back got noticeably rounded.
Yeah.
And so I got help, and I got over it in 6 months, and that was a year ago last April.
All right. Now, I'm assuming that if my spidey sense is working correctly, that you probably got over it with chelation therapy?
No.
How did you get on the other side of the cadmium toxicity issue?
Well, I went to a naturopathic doctor, and I think it was a homeopathy that he gave me. Did
they do any IV stuff at all?
No.
Okay.
I had that prior.
Yeah.
But not in the last couple of years.
Okay. So, well, all right. So, it's good to kind of look back and connect the dots. Otherwise, we think we're going crazy, right? That the neighbors are sneaking over into the house and polluting the well or something, right? I mean, there's got to be a reason that these things happen.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm back to, what's next?
Okay, so here's what's next. It's a good point. It's a great question. And it underlines, I think, one of the most important phenomenons of holistic healing. You just need to maintain the discipline here. I wouldn't do the icing anymore. You can continue to do the CM cream because that can help. I wouldn't get on that stretch board anymore.
Okay.
Not now. I would just maintain the discipline here because the understanding is that because of whatever reason, right? Maybe it's an architectural reason in the body because of the cadmium toxicity. Your bones were, lacking calcium to a remarkable degree.
Yeah.
The muscles were lacking calcium to a remarkable degree, so they were pulling on the spine in a way that wasn't, healthy and wasn't correct. And so that exerted unnecessary pressure on the intervertebral disc, and that squeezed the nerves making the heart beat appropriately. So that type of an irritation can take a long time to go away. It's kind of like if you smash yourself with a hammer, for 60 seconds every day for 30 days in a row, you'd have a gigantic bruise on the hand, and it might take a year for that bruise to go away once you stop smashing it with a hammer, right?
Right.
Well, it might take 2, 3, 4, 5 months for this nerve root irritation thing to settle down and get good. It might take 2, 3, 4, 5 more days, right? Nobody knows. But since you are experiencing slow and steady improvement, then there's nothing else to do here except, understand, well, this is probably why this happened, and this is what I'm going to do from now on to fix it, and what you should continue to experience moving forward is slow and steady improvement. So, if I were you, It's a good time to do this because it's the end of the month. Call me at the end of every month from now on and check in, and I'll tell you what to do. But in the meantime, nothing extra to add. Just maintain the discipline and stay in touch. 12 EFAs, 12 sweeties, cut way back on sugars, maintain the discipline. It's only a matter of time until it all comes around. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Check out the live stream. There are, right now, 63 people checking out the live stream. TheDrGliddenShow.tv. New York, New York. We're going to make the most of it with Lynette. Let's see what's shaking in New York. Hey, Lynette, what's going
Hello,
on?
how are you?
Good,
I'm
thanks
calling
for the call.
my husband. I'm calling about
Hello?
bipolar.
Oh, yeah. Your husband's been diagnosed with bipolar disease?
Yes, for a long
Yeah.
time now.
That's going to be a hard thing to live with.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I bet it is. Is it managed at all with drugs? I mean, is he doing better since the MD intervention or not so much?
He's been taking lithium for a long time.
Did it work?
Oh, sometimes. He still goes up and down, sometimes in a high.
Yeah, I know. It's a crazy thing. And this is the thing about, mental illness, illness that's in the mental and the emotional sphere rather than just the physical sphere. It's a tricky thing. It's a real difficult thing to have an appreciation for. And when you're suffering from it as a person, you kind of feel like a second, third, or fourth class citizen because you've got this big bad voodoo daddy stuff, and nobody really appreciates it because you can't see it. I mean, if he was in a full body cast in a wheelchair, he'd be getting a lot more mental and emotional support from people in his world, but mental disease is tough. And also, mental disease from the MD's point of view is, I believe that the MD's understanding and treatment of mental disease is a manifestation of evil in the world, and I'm choosing my words carefully, right?
Mm-hmm.
MDs do not believe that consciousness is a standalone thing. MDs are trained, especially psychiatrists, are trained to believe that consciousness itself is a function of biochemistry. Consciousness is a function of biochemistry. And that if somebody has a problem in the consciousness zone, like, mental and emotional stuff, the only possible solution is to let the psychiatrist exert a hostile takeover of your brain chemistry to drug your symptoms into submission and basically turn you into, a zombie, right? It's the nation of zombie, psychiatric patients all around the world. It's a horrible illness. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's bipolar. I don't care if it's schizophreniform disorder. I don't care what it is. The MDs have they have nothing for you other than therapeutics, the intention of which are really to just drug
you up.
It's bad, man. It's just an old-fashioned, outdated. I mean, it's like putting people on the rack. Really, it's like putting people on the rack. Now, and if I was the king of the world, the first thing that I would do, even before cancer, is I would get every holistic mind in the world to figure out a solution to mental illness, because it's bad, man. It's just bad.
It is.
And it's really
They're
effective.
hard to live with.
Yeah, no kidding. And, there's an inordinate number of our soldiers that are coming home now that are committing suicide. I know why that's happening, too. It's because when they're in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's 120 degrees, in the summertime, when they're carrying 75-pound packs around on their back and they're in full camo gear, they're sweating buckets.
Right.
They're sweating out all their minerals, they're sweating out all their nutrients, and the food that the Army's feeding them ain't got crap in it. And then they get all the vaccinations that the Army gives them, and they're just walking biochemical factories, and they're going to die. But before they die, they're going to get so depressed that they're going to shoot themselves in the head. So, I don't know why I'm going off on this, Lynette, but here's what I would do as a 6-month intervention to see if you can't get a leg up on your husband's condition.
Right.
So to support and promote the structure and function of the central nervous system here, the recommendation would be, how much does he weigh, by the way?
Maybe weigh about maybe 156.
Okay, 150? All right, great.
Maybe 160, I would say. I don't know.
Okay, so I would do one Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form, one Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form.
Healthy Start Pack.
Yep, 2.0 liquid. All right?
Mm-hmm.
I would do 3 bottles of EFA Plus. 3 bottles of EFA Plus.
EFA.
Yep, F like Frank. EFA Plus. 3 of those. 2 bottles of something called Sweet Ease. 2 bottles of Sweet Ease. 2 bottles of Sweet Ease. And 2 bottles of selenium. 3 bottles of selenium a month. 3 selenium a month. Add to that elimination of the 10 bad foods in a diet high in cholesterol. High in cholesterol. High in cholesterol. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Give that a run for your money and see. You know who that is sneaking around, don't you? I know who it is. It's your big pharma rep. Sneaking into your MD's office, giving him $50,000 of free stuff that he can then throw at you. 50 grand every year. That's a good business model. It's a good business model, isn't it? We don't accept that in drug dealers. Hey, kids, the first one's free. Yeah. Come back and see me in a week. Yeah, it's not going to be free anymore. That's what MDs do, and they get away with it. You know, why is that? Because it's good to be king. That's why. Utah's back. Lee's up with a question about IBS. Hey, Lee, thanks for the call. You are live.
Good afternoon. Marion is online with me. She's 90 years young. She's got irritable bowel syndrome.
Yep.
She's been on Youngevity now for a couple of months, and she's still having a hard time getting away from the bathroom. She did, for a little while, went on a cruise, but she's back to having problems.
Okay, is it Miriam or Marion?
Marianne.
Marianne. Hi, Marion. How are you?
Well, I'm as good as can be expected. I do great as a rule.
Okay. All right. Well, you have a good attitude, I can tell already. Now, question number 1, have you eliminated the 10 bad foods?
I don't know what they are.
Okay. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats.
Those are eliminated.
So you don't have oatmeal, you don't have bread, you don't have pasta, you don't have cookies, crackers, or any of that stuff, right?
No.
Excellent.
All last Friday. I spent all of last Friday in the bathroom.
Okay.
And in bed.
Okay. So you've been off of those foods since last Friday?
Right.
Okay. So that's what you need to do moving forward. Because here's our understanding of this illness, right? And if you go to YouTube, or have somebody just go to YouTube and type in Dr. Glidden Against the Grain, or even go to my website. I think it's available on my website, Against the Grain. There's a 45-minute free video that I did that explains what I'm about to tell you. So it's our understanding that when we eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats, that it hurts the intestinal tract, and that's the main cause of IBS. You don't have a bad gene, and it's not because you're getting older. It's because you're putting unleaded fuel in a diesel engine. It's just the wrong fuel for your body, and it's going to hurt you over time. That makes sense, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the other problem here, to add, another dose of misery here, is that when your intestinal tract is irritated because you're unwittingly eating all the wrong food, when you then pour a super concentrated nutritional supplement onto that, it's going to be like squeezing lemon onto a cut in your hand. It's going to sting like a son of a gun. So the nutritional supplements would irritate the inflammation that's already there. And that's why this is happening. So what I would do for 14 days is stop the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Stop the Beyond Osteo FX. The only thing I'd like you to take is selenium, if you're taking it, and the essential fatty acids, the little fish oil caps. But I want you to get... You don't have them?
I have the selenium. I don't have the fish oil caps.
Okay, so continue to take the selenium, but I'd like you to get one other product made by Longevity. It's called Mackie Plus, and it's a funny word. You spell it M-A like apple, Q like queen, I, M-A-Q-U-I. I left out the U. M-A-Q-U-I, Mackie Plus. It's a liquid. I'd like you to get 2 bottles of that, and I'd like you to please take 1 ounce twice a day for the next month. 1 ounce twice a day of that for the next month. That will help to calm down inflammation in your intestinal tract. It will go a long way towards supporting and promoting the health of your intestinal tract. And then 2 weeks from now, the middle of July, more or less, right around July 15th, you can add the Beyond Tangy Tangerine back into your program and see if you're good. But I have to tell you, Marion, that it is mandatory that if you want to move forward here, from now on, you have to just not even look at wheat, barley, rye, and oats. You have to go gluten-free 100%. And the more that you do that, the better you'll feel, the better your intestinal tract will get, and the better your intestinal tract gets, the better everything gets, right?
Right.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I have no trouble with oatmeal or rye. I haven't liked either one of those since I was little.
Yeah, I know. It's the whole wheat that really gets in the way, right? Because it's in everything. It's in bread, it's in bagels, it's in cookies, it's in crackers, it's in cakes, it's in pie crust, it's in everything. However,
exactly,
you can get gluten-free bread, pasta, cookies, crackers, and it doesn't taste that bad, and it's a lot easier to find. You might not know what you're missing type of a deal. But that's what I would recommend. And do me a favor, call me back once every 2 weeks, more or less, and give me a report. And I'd like to just track your progress on live radio.
Okay, I can do that.
All right, Marion, I appreciate your phone call. Now go get them and call me back in a couple of weeks. So now you heard that, right? That guy called. I forget what his name was. Forgive me. But he brought somebody to the radio show. Now, what if he hadn't done that? What would happen? Poor Marion would be, living out the last 15 years of her life, getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And the MDs would take no responsibility for it. They'd throw anti-inflammatories at her. They'd want to cut her colon out. They'd want to give all these procedures. And by the way, the older that you get, did you know that the most money you are likely to spend with conventional medicine anywhere in the world is in the last 5 years of your life? It is. Because the MDs know that you're going down for the count. They know how much money is in your insurance account. So they're just going to do as much stuff as they possibly can, and they'll justify it as, well, it's heroic medicine, and we're trying to give her an extra week on planet Earth. Yeah, baloney. You're trying to pad the bill is what you're trying to do, and you're a bad doctor. Bad doctor, I say. Bad doctor, no biscuit. You should be ashamed of yourself, for goodness sake. Honestly, I don't know how most MDs look at themselves in the mirror. I really don't. The only possible way this is because they are so brainwashed by their own educational process that they actually believe their own BS. And when they see it fail, they blame the patient. It's the only medical profession, it's the only profession that's allowed. Oh, you blame the patient. It couldn't be the automobile's fault. It had to be the driver's fault. It had to be the driver's fault that the car, the brakes didn't work. That's the driver's fault. Well, no, it's not. It's the car manufacturer's fault. Car manufacturer didn't do a good job. It's the doctor's fault. If you're suffering from a chronic illness, you don't have a bad gene. You have a bad doctor. It's time you woke up, snapped out of it, eliminated the 10 bad foods, swallowed the red pill, which in this metaphor is the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for health, sustenance, and welfare of the human body. Minnesota is all over the radio show today. Christina is back with us. Hey, Christina, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Guyton.
How are you?
Can you hear me? I'm good.
I can. Come in loud and clear.
Great. Basically, I am 31. I've been to like over 15 doctors so far, and I have a whole bunch of symptoms, and I wanted to ask what I should be taking for these symptoms.
Okay, great. So, but first of all, I want the listening audience to understand what's happening here. You're 31, or how old are you?
I'm 31.
31. How many doctors have you been to for this condition?
I've been to maybe over 15 doctors, maybe 20.
Yeah, and they haven't been able to help you whatsoever.
No, right now I'm on like one drug that, to be honest, maybe it suppresses something, but I'm a mess.
Yeah, and people wonder why the economy's collapsing. They wonder why, the medical system is collapsing. It's not because the medical system needs to be tweaked, modified, repaired. It doesn't need to be upregulated or downregulated by the government. It needs to be abandoned because it does not work. And this woman, Christina from Minnesota, is the poster child for the complete ineffectiveness of conventional medicine. But I digress, Christina. I'll give you the microphone. Tell me what's going on.
Okay. I have very severe neuritis.
Where?
I have in my feet. Well, the worst, most severe pain I have is in my feet. Very severe. Hard for me to even, I can't hardly stand a few seconds. I'm always in pain from it.
All right. That's in the balls of your feet?
All over. My entire feet feels like someone poured kerosene over them and then threw a match on them.
I hate it when that. So it's a constant burning sensation in the feet?
Yep. Burning, tingling. And my feet are very cold all the time, even in like 90-degree weather. You touch them, and they're very cold. So
there's a burning pain internally, but externally, your feet, if I were to touch your feet, they'd feel ice cold.
They'd feel cold. They definitely feel cooler than the rest of my body. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay, and on top of that coolness, there's this intermittent burning pain?
Constant burning pain, and it does not hurt at all when people touch my feet. It's more like a sensation from like internal. It doesn't hurt at all for people to touch my feet or touch me, but yet the feet feel like they're burning in fire.
Got it.
Yeah. I also have polyneuropathy all over my body, and that seems to be getting worse. I have constant fatigue. I have terrible brain fog. I can hardly think. Hard for me to concentrate or remember things. I have pain under my right rib cage. I don't know what that's about, and they haven't figured that out. And I have muscle twitches, but I heard that that's from calcium deficiency. And the last one, a big one, is I have lupus in addition.
Says who? Who told you have lupus?
A rheumatologist.
Was it definitive or presumptive?
He saw antibodies or something like that in my test results, and he said that's what
you have lupus. Do you have any of the signs and symptoms of lupus, like you've got the mask on your face or anything like that?
The only time I got a mask on my face was 1 week after he put me on steroids, and I cut them out. I was like, no way.
Yeah, okay. How tall are you and how much do you weigh?
I'm 5'1.5", and I weigh about 111 pounds.
Okay. What's your blood type, do you know?
I think it could be AB or something.
Okay, and are you on any special diets, like you're a Lacto Ovo Novo from Provo or anything like that?
Yes, I am on a diet, no milk. I can't handle it. I can't handle any gluten of any kind.
Yep.
I don't eat hardly any type of grains except maybe a little bit of rice.
Okay.
I cut out meat primarily from my diet because it seems like my inflammation goes up.
That's interesting. Hold on, Christina. Hard break here. Stick around. I'll finish out the show with you. So glad that you called. Finishing out the show, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, with Christina from Minnesota, who's been dealing with bad doctors for a long, long time. All right, a couple things. Why don't you eat meat? Because when you do, it increases your symptoms?
Yes, it seems like the inflammation goes up. And I should mention that I've had, like, for example, if I drink a glass of milk, all of a sudden my body will become inflamed. It is terrible pain. Terrible pain.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But you think you're blood type A?
I thought it was AB, but I could be wrong. I know it's not type O.
Okay, good. So, brain fog, muscle twitching, pain under the rib cage. Have you seen a chiropractor, or is that just too painful to even consider?
I actually did see one, and he did some cracking around, but that was about it.
And did that do anything to the pain under the right rib?
No, nothing.
Okay. So here's our basic understanding and the basic recommendation. Okay. The brain fog is a chronic nutrient deficiency syndrome with emphasis on mineral deficiencies, specifically minerals. There are 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs in order to function the way that nature intended it, 90. 60 of the 90 nutrients are minerals. 2/3 of your body's nutrient needs are things like calcium, magnesium, sulfur, zinc, minerals, right? 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids for a grand total of 90. The problem here, Christina, is that you can't get the 90 essential nutrients from food. You can't do it. They're not in the food. They're not. So unless you, me, or the man in the moon are supplementing with the 90 essential nutrients, no matter what dietary discipline we're following, it's only a matter of time until our bodies run out of stuff, and then things start to break, and different people have weaknesses. You know, like my weakness might be my left lung. Your weakness, obviously, is your nerves. Your sister's weakness might be her uterus. Your brother's weakness might be his left eyeball. Who knows, right? Different people are born into the world with different strengths and weaknesses that are then acted upon by the stress of life. So, our basic fundamental message here for everybody is determine which part of the body is the weakest and give it nutritional support. But don't just give it nutritional support. Give the entire body foundation medical nutrition support, and then a little extra support, in this case, for your nerves, right? So, I mean, it's a really pretty straightforward process. Interestingly enough, and you may already know this, 75% of your central nervous system is made from cholesterol. It's made from cholesterol. So you need to find a cholesterol source that your body can handle, and you need to eat the hell out of it. I mean, like 6 eggs a day, you know, chicken eggs, duck eggs, goose eggs, I don't care, quail eggs, butter, full fat, a yogurt with the cream on top, or, you know, whatever cholesterol donor you can find that your body can tolerate, you need to eat a lot of. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, you need to get into the habit of salting your food so that it tastes good. Because your stomach needs salt to make healthy stomach acid. You need salt to make healthy stomach acid. So salt your food so that it tastes good. And the preferred form is Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt that has iodine added to it. If you can't find that, just use table salt. I don't care, because you need salt, okay? Number three, there are 10 foods that you need to stop eating, whether you think they're good for you or not. And plus, in addition, you need to, of course, continue to stay away from the foods that you do know upset the apple cart. And you can get our list of the 10 bad foods for free on my website, drglidden.com. So get that list. Stop eating those foods immediately. You're already half of the way there. And the third and final step, or the fourth step in this case, would be eliminate give your body the medical nutrition that it needs. And at 111 pounds, it's going to be easy breezy lemon squeezy. The recommendation for you is one Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form. One Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form. 2 bottles of selenium 2 bottles of Ultimate Selenium is the official name, Ultimate Selenium, and 1 bottle of EFA at the 180 count. 1 bottle of EFA at the 180 count, and last but not least, 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals. 1 plant-derived minerals, 1 EFA, 1 healthy start pack 2.0 in the liquid form, and 1 EFA at the 180 count. Get with the person who told you about this show. They'll tell you how to order the stuff at the wholesale price and how to take them.